Kevin here with New Avenue. I'm excited to show everybody a lift with an ADU and a junior ADU in Oakland, California. This is a 1,300 square foot house that was lifted up. It had a basement that was unfinished that became a finished space where we're sitting right now. And starting out at the street, you can see how the facade of the house hasn't changed too much. It certainly matches the rest of the neighborhood fairly well. It was a single-story home. It's now a two-story home. You can see this is an active construction site. We actually did zero prep in order to show people the reality of what it looks like when you're doing a pretty major or a very major project on a 100-plus-year-old house in a city like Oakland, which is really comparable to any 100-year-old house in almost any city in the country. So you'll see construction debris, busted up concrete, mud piles, drywall stacked that I'm sitting on right now. We get a lot of questions from people about what it's like to live through construction of an ADU on your property or next door. This is an outlier because this is as intense of a project as you could ever find. And by that I mean the owner is living upstairs in a 100-year-old house that was lifted over 10 feet in the air. Old foundation was demolished, new foundation was put in, whole new walls and everything else were put in below it. He lived upstairs. He moved out for about 1 week, no more. He was expecting it to be pretty invasive and intense, but he's worked from home writing software code the whole time, and he hasn't found it too disruptive to his life. The siding there on the upper level that you see there is probably 100-year-old original redwood, which is little pieces that are about 4 inches. It's now milled in a piece that looks like 3 pieces, and that's what was used for the lower half. A new staircase will be added coming down to the front yard. These French doors are the main entrance to a new accessory dwelling unit on the front half, one of 2 ADUs on the front half of this house. There will be a big patio about 10 by 10 in the front, landscaping all around. Now, of course, is a construction site, but let me show you. As you enter the front ADU, classic kind of open concept kitchen living area. Kitchen will go in along the back wall. Living area is all here. You could imagine you have your couch and your TV here. A little hallway to a good sized big bathroom. Your bikes, coats, shoes, everything else go in this little hallway here that's about 6 by 6. Beyond that, you've got your bedroom. About a 6 by 8 bathroom is bigger than the code minimum 5 by 7. You can fit your tub and your toilet and your sink with room to move. Floor to ceiling storage with bikes hanging on the walls every house needs a space like this, whether it's a 400 square foot ADU or, full size 2,000-3,000 square foot home. Bedroom goes in the back. Closets, something I always joke about. Size of your clothes doesn't shrink when you move into a smaller house like an ADU. You need the same size closet you would have in a 2,000 square foot house. So this is a 400 square foot accessory dwelling unit beneath an existing house. This home was lifted up. It's a slab floor, slab concrete floor. That's the foundation on the floor. You can see the pink insulation is the exterior. That's for temperature control, of course. You'll see all this other brown-green insulation. That's all just for soundproofing, which is one of the smartest things you can do. Now we're gonna sneak through a wall that will be turned into a fire-rated wall to separate 2 units in the future, but it's open now for construction. And this is how we're sneaking into the back ADU. You've got a bathroom, 2 big bedrooms, and a living room with the same idea as the ADU we just walked through, only twice as big. Kitchen around the back wall, big open living area with French doors that look out to the backyard. That is the mini split heat pump coming out of the ceiling, which is your electric heating and cooling. Most of our projects are net zero energy. All of our ADUs don't have any gas. They're heated and cooled with electricity. There's a staircase here that goes up to connect to the existing house, so this can function as part of the existing home, and it probably will in the near future. It could also function as a second separate apartment. A lot of families do something like this where you're effectively separate, but you're actually connected. And you have the option to have it private or you have the option to have it shared. And then the last bit, this French door opens up to the backyard. What comes up often is this type of project where you lift an older home like this, build out the entire downstairs. You can get twice as many square feet built out without using up any of your backyard. It's not pretty right now. As I said, it's the middle of a construction process, and we're still in the intense part where the drywall was just stacked up in the living room. So we've got framing lumber left over, forms, you name it. The old temporary pipe from the sewer when we lifted it, just construction stuff. But if you look closely, I would say this is a pretty good construction site. Again, we didn't lift a finger before we got here. We like to measure off the gold standard of cleanliness in construction, I would say, is could a 5-year-old or a puppy run through the site without getting hurt? I think the answer is frankly yes on this construction site. There's no screws, there's no metal scraps, there's no nails, there's no glass or anything like that. Just drywall, a little bit of dust, some old framing lumber, you know, some tools. It's a pretty clean, safe site. So we're happy with that. And when this is all said and done, this will be home to probably 3 households where there used to be 1.